Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 13 team tutorials. And as you can see on the screen, today I'm going to be playing as Brazil. I'm playing as Brazil in a 4-2-3-1 wide formation. They play a very attacking 4-3-3 as default, so I've changed that slightly. And the team lineup is Cesar, Alves, Silva, Dante, Marcelo, Gustavo, Hernandez, Oscar, Hulk, Neymar and Fred, and that's the team lineup. So let's dive straight in, and first thing I want to talk about is the slight change of formation. Now, basically 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3 set up roughly the same way, in that you've got two central midfielders, a central attacking midfielder, two wingers and a striker. The only thing that changes where they are positioned, and Brazil are a very attacking team, and I find if you run them in a formation which is too gung-ho, they can be a little bit open at the back. So that's why I've switched to the slightly more restrained 4-2-3-1 wide, because Brazil's players are naturally very attacking, and there's no need to run them in a very gung-ho formation, because that will leave you slightly open at the back. But that's enough with the formation. Let's go straight into the players. Now, obviously, as always, let's start with the goalkeeper, and in goal we've got Julio Cesar. Now, he's an 83 rated, and he's a very good shot stopper. He has 87 reflexes, 84 diving, and 82 positioning. Very solid shot stopping stats. You need to be a little bit careful with him. He only has 78 handling. Occasionally, he does palm chances back into the 6-yard box, and you see a couple of examples of that in this game. One off a Ronaldo free kick, which is practically straight at him, and he just flops it straight back in the air, and I get away with the rebound a little bit luckily. But apart from that, he's a very solid keeper. Has a reasonable throw. He doesn't have a cannon long throw, but you know, he is a keeper you can certainly use. So that's enough of him. Let's move on to Dani Alves. Now, Dani Alves, obviously playing right back in this formation, is a ludicrously attacking fullback. He has high attacking work rate and low defensive work rate. And for a fullback, this can be, you know, a blessing and a curse at the same time. It can be a blessing because he's always so far forward to support your attacks. I mean, his attacking stats are absolutely incredible as well. He has 92 sprint speed, 88 stamina, 87 acceleration, 88 agility, 85 jumping. And for a fullback, I can't think of a fullback with better physical stats than that. I mean, they really are top-notch physical stats. If you add to this, he's got 4-star skill moves, and he's got like 83 crossing, 81 dribbling. Those are really good stats for an attacking player. He even has 88 shot power, so he can have a ping if you want him to. So very attacking. The problem is that low work rate. You know, he will not track back and defend at all. And you know, he does have good technical defending stats. You know, 86 slide tackling, very good. But the problem is he's often not in the position to do anything about it because he doesn't track back a lot. So this is why you've got to be really careful with Brazil, and this is why I recommended don't play a formation which is too attacking. Because you've got so many attacking players, they're naturally going to get forward. So you do have to be a little bit aware of being caught on the counter-attack, especially like I've mentioned with Dani Alves' low defensive work rate. He's not going to be busting a gut to get back unless you manually micro him back. And this is what I do quite a lot when I play with Brazil, because like I mentioned, he has very high stamina, 88. You can manually run him back. So be careful with Dani Alves. He's very good, but he can leave you open. Let's move inside now to Thiago Silva. Now, Thiago Silva is a very good defender. He has 82 sprint speed, which is incredibly quick for a centre-back. You don't see many centre-backs with pace like that. He has 91 interceptions, 91 marking, 92 stand tackling and 89 slide tackling. That is absolutely tremendous stats for a centre-back. There's no problems with those at all. But the one problem he does have is he only has like 79 strength, I think, off the top of my head. You know, that strength isn't very high, and if you get a very powerful forward, he can often be bullied around the park. I mean, if you were up against an Ibrahimovic, Thiago Silva might struggle because, like I mentioned, 70 strength for a centre-half with the rating that he has is pretty poor, but the rest of his stats do help to bail him out. So be a little bit careful with him. Don't try and just use him as a battering ram. Try and use him to put tackles in. Don't just shove people out of the way. And if you do that, you'll be very pleased with him because his technical stats for defending are absolutely tremendous. And alongside him, you've got Dante. Now, a lot of people like to play David Luiz, but Dante is 4 points higher rated. Dante's an 84 rated player, and he has very good stats. You know, he has 83 strength, which is immediately better than Luiz. David Luiz has strength in the 70s again. He has 84 interceptions, 84 marking, 86 slide tackling, and 84 stand tackling. Those are very good, but got to be careful with this back four. They aren't particularly good in the air because they've got very good ratings. But if you look at Dante's jumping rating, for example, 67, that's very poor. And when you couple that with their comparatively low strengths, target men are very, very good against Brazil because they can dominate their back four in ways that they can't do to other 5-star teams. So that's a real weakness for Brazil. You've got to be careful against those strikers or even just anyone with good jumping. You know, Ronaldo, obviously, in this Real Madrid team, very, very good in the air, and he can beat pretty much anyone in my team in the air. So that's one thing you've got to be careful about. Try and stop the crosses in. You know, the goal I conceded was from a driven cross. The defence has really no hope against that. So that's one thing you've got to be aware of with these two centre-backs. But technically, on the floor, pace-wise, they're very, very good. You know, Thiago Silva even has 80 long passing, so he can spray the passes as well. So as long as you pay attention to their weaknesses, you really can't go wrong with them. Let's move to the left back now, Marcelo. Now, he's an 82 rated, and he's another player with high attacking work rate and only medium defensive work rate. So, once again, he really does enjoy to get forward. He's got 81 speed, 85 balance, very, very good physical stats. 87 crossing as well. He can really put a ball in, and this is very, very useful considering who you've got up front, and I'm going to explain that later on. But very, very good. But he also has good technical defending stats. So 84 slide tackling, 82 stand tackling, very, very good. He even has 85 reactions, which means he can put in some cheeky interceptions every now and again. I always see Marcelo as a slightly worse version of Dani Alves, and this is no, complaint against him. Marcelo's a very, very good player, but he's basically Dani Alves with all of the stats toned down a little apart from the crossing. So he's not as quick, he's not as agile, he can't tackle as well, he doesn't have the 4-star skills, but if you get him into a position where he can put a ball in, his crossing is very, very effective. So with Brazil, you've got two very, very good centre-backs, admittedly not great in the air, but fantastic at everything else, and two ultra-attacking full-backs. And this is where the next player, Luis Gustavo, really comes into his own. You've got so many players in the back who love to get forward. You need to have a midfielder who's prepared to hold. And Luis Gustavo, even though he's only an 81 rated, his high defensive work rate and his key defensive stats really do play an important role in the side. When you look through, he has 89 aggression, 85 interceptions, 85 stamina, 88 slide tackling, 87 stand tackling. That is absolutely tremendous defensive stats. He really does put a shift in, and he's a key player in the side because, like I mentioned, you have so many attacking players. You do need that balance, and Gustavo certainly provides that. But that's not saying for a second he can't do anything when he wins the ball. He has 80 short passing, which is a very, very solid stat. As long as you don't try anything too ambitious with him, he really is a very, very good midfielder, and he complements this side very, very well. And the good thing about playing a defensive-minded midfielder is that I can play an even more attacking-minded midfielder right alongside him, and I've gone for Hernandez. Now, Hernandez doesn't start in this team, but the reason why I bought him in is because he has some of the best technical stats in this Brazilian side. And when you think about just how very, very technically gifted Brazil teams are, that is high praise indeed. And you just go through this list here. He's got 5-star weak foot for a start, which is an incredible stat. Not many players have that, and Brazil are very, very lucky that they have a couple of players in this team with 5-star weak foot. He has 4-star skill moves, so if you like your skills, he's very, very good. But just listen to these technical stats. I mean, 88 ball control, 86 dribbling, 86 free kick accuracy, 86 long shots, 86 short passing, 86 shot power. And don't forget, that 5-star weak foot means he's doubly effective because those stats are just as good on his left and right foot. He really is a very, very talented playmaker. Now, the one problem with him is he isn't quick, so that's why I'm reluctant to play him in that central attacking midfield role. I do find him a little bit sluggish, but in that deep-lying playmaker role, that Andrea Pirlo role, there aren't many players better at it than he is on FIFA. He really is exceptional. He sprays the passes, he controls the game, and if he's in a bit of space, left or right foot, he can have a great ping on target as well. So, very, very talented player, and I have to get him in my team whenever I play Brazil. He really is that good. I can't think of why anyone would leave him on the subs bench. Either you play him in a central midfield role, or if you want a controller slightly higher up the pitch, you drop Oscar and you play him in the central attacking midfield role. But for me, you've got to get Hernandez on the pitch. He's too good to leave out, and he just really complements Gustavo nicely. They're a great central midfield partnership. So let's move from the centre of the pitch to the centre attacking area of the pitch, and let's look at Oscar. Now, Oscar's an 82 rating. He's almost certainly going to be higher rated in the next FIFA. He had a very, very good season for Chelsea, and he started reasonably well this season as well. But even with his 82 rating, he still has very, very good key stats. He has 4-star skill moves again. Another player who can do his good skills. He has 87 agility, 85 acceleration, 85 dribbling. So He's very, very good at skipping past players. He's good on the ball. You know, he has 83 short passing as well. So he's just nice and, you know, compact, composed, very, very good at what he does. He's not the most all-rounded player. He's not someone who can burst past someone with lightning pace, but that 85 acceleration and the good ball control and dribbling really does enable you to run at players. You're not going to outpace too many of the quickest players, but then again, you're not going to get caught by too many players if you put through on goal as well. So he's just a very, very nicely rounded central attacking midfielder. As long as you don't try anything too outlandish with him, you're going to have a lot of success with Oscar. Very, very good player. And he complements the front three very, very nicely. Now, I'm going to start on the right wing, and I'm playing Hulk on the right wing. Now, Hulk is a very, very dominantly left-footed player. He has an absolutely tremendous left foot, but only 2-star weak foot. So occasionally you're going to be forced wide, you're going to be forced to put a cross in with his right foot, and it's not going to be very effective. And I think you see a couple of examples in this game when I try and do that. I try and put that cross in, and that 2-star weak foot really does come back to bite me. You know, it's a little bit of a struggle to get him to work. But the reason why I like to play him on that right wing is because he's an absolutely devastatingly effective finisher. I mean, he has 85 attack positioning, 88 strength, 88 acceleration, 88 long shots, 92 shot power, 84 finishing. So yes, he may be very, very dependent on his left foot, but if you get him within 30 yards on that left foot, he can really punish any team out there. He's a devastatingly effective finisher. And when you put into, you know, stats like 89 aggression as well, he wins the ball back in advanced positions very, very often, Hulk. And then if you give him a clear run through on goal, that 85 sprint speed will mean that very few players can catch him up. You have enough time to get that ball on his left foot, and if you do that, he scores goals so many times. He's a very, very dangerous player. And when you put into the fact he has 4-star skill moves as well, if you like to do all your Zidane turns and your chops and your flicks, he's another player you can rely on to do that. So Hulk, you know, you've got to be aware of his limitations again. And I've said this a few times with players in Brazil today. You know, they have excellent stats in certain areas, but they have a couple of flaws that if you're not aware of and you don't respect, they can come back to bite you. But as long as you're aware of Hulk's flaws, the rest of his stats are tremendous. And let's move across to the other side of the pitch to Neymar. And Neymar's another player who falls into that category. And again, another player who's going to have an almost guaranteed ratings rise in the next FIFA, because obviously he's joined Barcelona over the summer for big money. So let's talk about Neymar right now. Neymar's another player in this Brazil side with 5-star weak foot, and this is a very, very rare commodity on FIFA. You do not see too many players with that, and what it means is he's as effective in any area of the pitch. You know, Neymar's a player who likes to drift. A couple of times in this video you see he's in the centre forward role or the striker role, or he drifts out wide to the wing. You know, it doesn't matter where he picks the ball up, he will be effective on it. And when you add to the fact that he has 5-star skill moves as well, he is a devastatingly effective attacking player. And you see, you know, one of the goals he sets up in this game is from a lovely little bit of skill, dink through ball to Hernandez, and Hernandez finishes it off. You know, the two 5-star weak foot players combining to excellent effect. But if you look at his stats, I mean, 92 acceleration, 89 sprint speed, 88 attack positioning, 93 agility, 92 ball control, 92 dribbling. That is absolutely tremendous. They are fantastic stats. The stats you've got to be a little bit careful of. He has absolutely atrocious strength. Very, very bad. He can be bullied by a lot of players. But the good thing is, his ball control and his dribbling is so good that normally he can just glide around players and he doesn't have to go through them. So that's something that can be managed. The thing that I don't like about him is he only has 70 crossing. And bearing in mind, you're playing him on a winger role, where one of your wingers has 2-star weak foot, so he's not particularly good at putting crosses in on his right foot, and then the other player, and that's the goal I was talking about just briefly, lovely bit of skill from Neymar and the through ball, but then one side you've got 2-star weak foot, the other side only 70 crossing, so you're not going to have a very, very regular supply of excellent crosses, which is a bit of a shame, because as I move on to the last player, Fred, you know, Fred is only an 81 rated on this, but he is an absolutely fantastic poacher, and he actually has the poacher shield, which goes some way to explaining why he's a very, very devastating finisher. And Fred always gets a very large proportion of my goals when I play as Brazil. And looking at his stats, I mean, you can understand why. He has 86 attack positioning, which is always vital for a striker to get in that place. 86 finishing, very, very good. 85 heading, very, very good. 83 strength, competitive. 85 ball control, good. 85 volleys, good. 83 shot power. When you look at all of those stats, they are stats that any striker in the world would be happy to have. You know, they're very, very technically good. And he has 4-star weak foot as well, so he's very, very useful just in and around the area. Once again, don't try anything too ridiculous with him. He's limited, but he's very effective at what he does. And if you can give him the good service, which when you look through this team, you look at all the passing stats, you look at the pace, you look at the vision, the attack positioning ratings, very, very high. And you can really give him a lot of service. And if you do, he will score a lot of goals because it doesn't matter how he receives the ball. He can head, he can volley, he can finish. He's got a good weak foot. He's got good shot power, so you can have a ping from outside the area if you want to. You know, he's just a very nicely rounded striker. And I think 81's a little bit underrated, but he certainly doesn't play like an 81 rated player. You know, there are so many players on FIFA that play well above or well below their ratings, and Fred is definitely a player who plays above his ratings for all the stats I've mentioned. You know, don't try anything too ridiculous. Stick to what he is, which is a very, very good poacher, and you won't go far wrong with Fred. But guys, that's my Brazil team tutorial. Hope you've enjoyed listening to it. You know, the game in the background's a pretty nice game as well. I end up dominating most of it. You know, really, really control the game against Real Madrid as well. A very, very commonly used and overpowered 5-star team. A lot of players just go to Madrid straight away off the bat, and I managed to record quite a comfortable 3-1 win against them in the end. So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, have a great day.